Alright guys, I'm LQ and this is the LQ review. This will be the review of episode 3 of Survivor Edge of Extinction, season 38. I'm going to talk about the good, I'm going to talk about the bad, and then I'm going to say whether or not I recommend this episode. This episode picks up with Keith. Remember last week we left Keith with a bit of a cliffhanger. You know, we weren't sure which way Keith was going to go. Was he going to go to the edge of extinction, or was he going to leave the game? And turns out that I was right in my prediction. He did go to the edge of extinction. Why would they start the episode with somebody leaving the game? That wouldn't make sense narratively for them to start the episode. We're going to start the episode with a positive. If somebody was leaving the game, I think they would end the episode that way. So Keith did go to Edge of Extinction, and we got just a little taste of what was going on at Edge of Extinction. We didn't get much. I'm going to talk about Edge of Extinction in a little bit, but let's talk about the good. So this episode had a few narratives. The ones that I really liked were Aubrey. She got to check something off of her Survivor bucket list. She got to find a hidden immunity idol. And I love the way that she scrambled to find it. You know, last week I wasn't impressed with the gameplay. People were figuring out the Aubrey game. The keywords that she used to make people feel like she's developing real bonds with them. And just the way that she plays. It was coming back to haunt her, so to speak, because people know the way that she plays, and she was playing the same way. But this time, she was able to scramble, she was able to work hard, and she was able to find a hidden immunity idol, and I say good on her. I really enjoyed watching her make that move and get out there and work hard to find it, so I think it's going to get her further in the game. Last week, I was worried about her. I was like, you know what? I don't think she's going to make it that far. But my original call, if you'll remember, I originally said I think she's going to make it deep. And you know what? I think she's still in that game. I think she still could make it deep, especially now that she made this move to find a hidden immunity idol. Also good, you know what? I've talked about her every episode. Wentworth. You know what? She's got her back up against the wall every week. And every week she's able to come out on top. And I love the way that she's playing the game in the sense that, you know what? You're gunning for me, you got to go. That's how power players play. That's how Boston Rob played. That's how Russell Hantz played. That's how Parvati played. That's how a lot of the power players that have gone on to cement themselves in Survivor Legend status, that's how they play. You come for me, you gotta go. Even Sandra played that way to some extent, right? Sandra, who I'm not a big fan of, she even played that way. You know what? I'll vote anybody as long as it's not me. But whenever Sandra found out that there was a threat towards her, she would try to take him out. Same with Sari. All right, so I like that Wentworth is taking that approach to the game. You're coming for me. You know what? I'm going to be adaptable, drop whatever plans I've got in process, and you are the target. So I like that. All right, I haven't really talked about this guy much, but he's growing on me. I got to say, he's growing on me, and that's War Dog. All right, so I like the fact that he is trying to shake the game up. He's trying to take control of the game. He's trying to get himself. This is a personal game for him. He's not, you know, the team health isn't really that big of a deal to him. He's trying to get himself further in the game, and that's evident in the way that he's playing. And I love the fact that Chris underestimated War Dog. Because Chris said that War Dog would not talk to Wentworth, and then War Dog turns around and talks to Wentworth, and then Wentworth gets rid of Chris. So I really liked War Dog's gameplay. Might be because he's aligning with one of the two people that I picked to win, but I really like his gameplay, and he's entertaining. He's fun to watch, and that's one of the big things about Survivor is you don't just want characters that are good at the game. You want characters who are entertaining as well. You want characters that are characters, right? Characters that are characters. They have a personality to them, and you can either root for them or you can root against them. But that's the beautiful thing about Survivor is that you can love to hate somebody, right? Russell Hantz is a villain. Of course he's a villain. I would love it if he played again because he's entertaining, right? He's entertaining. Rupert. I'm not a fan of Rupert. Every time he plays, I cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did he just say that? Did he just do that? Did he just give up immunity for his wife? Did he just say that thing to Jeff Probst at Tribal Council? Rupert is not a good player, and I cringe at a lot of the moves that he makes. But I'd love to see him again because he's a good character. So that's where I'm at. Is are you a good character? And War Dog is turning out to be a good character. Let's talk about some of the bad. Didn't see much of Joe this episode, so I really can't say a whole lot about him. But David. I don't know why David is so fixated on getting rid of Wentworth. David is a returning player. You would think that he would want Wentworth there as a shield. Right? He would want Wentworth there. You would think that he would want Wentworth to be constantly there as a bigger target than him. Somebody that he could always deflect to and say, hey guys, you know what? She's a bigger threat than I am. I might be a returning player also, but she's a bigger threat. So I really think that he's making a mistake, and I think it's going to come back to bite him. I think eventually word's going to get back to Wentworth that David was trying to take her out, and it's going to be the end of David's game. We'll see, but I'm not impressed with it. I'm not impressed with this fixation on getting rid of her. And clearly he doesn't have great control of his allies because his allies are talking to her. So, not impressed with this game so far. I'm not impressed with the Edge of Extinction yet. They haven't told us anything about Edge of Extinction. I don't know anything about it. They get voted out. They have the opportunity to leave the game. They have the opportunity to go to Edge of Extinction. We don't know what Edge of Extinction is yet. Is it a rebranded Redemption Island? That's kind of what I'm thinking it is. I'm kind of guessing it's a rebranded Redemption Island. But I don't know. They haven't told us anything. So, I need to know more. But right now, it's like, what's happening? What's happening, guys? I got to know more. And I don't. So right now, it's a bad. Because I don't know. And then Chris. The cards were lined up for you, man. The cards were lined up. They were out there on the table. You had the opportunity to make a big move. And you were told not to tell War Dog. But you did. It's your fault you got voted out, man. It's your fault. So a player like that, I mean, you always get these jockey, fit people, and they end up not being good characters. They end up being characters that fade into the background. Even if they're jocks, even if they're fit, even if they're athletes and they do great in the challenges, lots of times you get these characters, these people who just disappear. And that was Chris. When we were watching Chris in this episode, I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Because he hasn't been a factor in the game until he gets voted out. When he gets voted out, he's a factor. But he wasn't a factor up till that point. So, hey man, you probably aren't long for this game. But he did choose to take the torch and go to Edge of Extinction, so we'll see where that takes us. I have no problems with a tribe getting, what's it called, pagonged or something like that. When they get picked off one by one, I got no problems with that. I think it's entertaining. Looks like we're going to have we're going to have a tribal shuffle next week, and they're going to shuffle it up into 3 tribes. Usually, we're going to see a tribe that's weaker, and we're going to see a tribe that gets picked apart as well, even if they break into 3. So that's my prediction. We're going to see one tribe that gets a short end of the stick, and they're going to get picked apart. We'll see. But, yeah, I like this. Edge of Extinction has been a win so far, but it's been a win on a couple people's shoulders. It's been a win on the shoulder of Wentworth, on the shoulders of Aubrey, on the shoulders of Lauren. I like Lauren. War Dog's been great so far. And you know what? I'm not impressed with David's gameplay, but David's been entertaining. I gotta tell you, he's been a character. He's doing all the wrong things. He's doing all the stupid things, but he's been a character. So it's been strong just based on the gameplay of a few characters. When they get voted out, who knows? I'm hoping that when we find out what the Edge of Extinction is, we're gonna the show's gonna get a nice little boost. Right now, it's a middling show. I mean, as far as Survivor seasons are concerned, right now it's kind of just in the middle. Nothing earth-shattering has happened yet, so we'll see how this plays out. Right now, I would give it a smiley face, but It's really too early to tell. I keep going back and forth on this season, but right now I'd say it's a quality season. But we need to see where this is going to go, where a few of these storylines are going to take us. So I'm LQ. This is the LQ review with my Survivor: Edge of Extinction review. What did you think of the third episode of Edge of Extinction? Let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you for joining me right here, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy things that us geeks and nerds love to talk about. And as always, thank you for joining me.